other religious leaders as well. If I'm missing anybody, I apologize, but we're gathered here for this moment just to talk about the situation with what's going on in terms of immigrants. A quick short story, if I may. I asked myself the question, what if my dad were deported? He's probably on the way here, but several years ago, maybe 40 plus years ago, a young man's visa expired with a child and a mother in his hand, and he was leading a Bible study not too far from here, 3 streets from here in Columbus in a basement, and they announced to him there was going to be an ICE raid on that Sunday morning, and the church shut down, and no one was able to meet. Shortly thereafter, he left with me and my mom and went to Chicago, went to Moody Bible College, came back here, founded an organization that is now standing here before here, invested, built this from the ground up to help and serve our community. Had he been deported because his visa had expired, we wouldn't be even able to have this press conference at this place. So that is how serious this thing is for me. Had he been deported, myself being not only a pastor but a public school teacher, taught over 3,000 students, mentored them in public school, also a college professor, mentored in college over 250 students, graduated from Ivy League University, got my doctorate. None of that would have happened had my father been deported just because of his status. None of these ministers who've built congregations here would have been in the same situation. Pastor Dorselli, whose sons and daughters are elite doctors in the community, as well as communication educators. Pastor Latouche, who's not here, who's got a daughter that's an immigration attorney, another son who was a consultant for one of the largest police departments in the country, Newark. We have Pastor Jermaine, whose children are serving community. His son pastors one of the most prominent churches in Florida. None of that would have been possible if we were treated the way this country did not treat the people that came here through Ellis Island, the way this country has not treated people that came here as Afrikaners, and this country has not treated those that came from the war in Ukraine. I just want to end with 3 facts that I think is very important for this narrative. Number 1 fact, as Haitian Americans, most of our folks here have come because of the situation in their country. The fact is, number 1, that 4 years ago, our president in that country was assassinated. And it has not been an elected president since. In other words, it's a chaotic government situation. You can't deny that. That's a fact. So to send people back to that situation doesn't make any logical sense. Second fact, number 2, is not too long ago, on June 24th, our own State Department issued a directive, not only that Haiti is a level 4 problem, but it issued to all American citizens to return if they can from the country, and they told them not to even go through the Dominican border because they are at risk of being kidnapped. That is from our own State Department. You can check their website and fact check me on that, and yet we would like to deport people back to that. Fact number 3, no one here as an immigrant and descendant of immigrants would like to tolerate any immigrant that comes in here and desecrates this country, that disrespects this country's laws, that disrespects this country's traditions and values, because we share the same values of freedom, we share the same values of liberty, and we share the same values of solidarity. In our revolution of 1804, which coincides with your revolution of 1776, these countries are interlocked together. However, that criminal element that gets deported is being deported to a lawless country. When those guys go back to that country, or those women go back to that country as convicted criminals, what do you think they're going to engage in? They're not going to all of a sudden become reformed people. They're going to join with the lawlessness there. And the people that have come here, if you send them back, they are already candidates for kidnapping, because they know the only way they came here was to have a sponsorship. And if they have a sponsorship, that means they have somebody that can be used if they're kidnapped to send money back. Again, makes no sense. So we're here with our congressmen, we're here with our other elected officials to allow this narrative to be told the way it should be told. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Pastor Nate, and thank you, Pastor Evans, for inviting us here to First Timothy Christian Church, and for all that you both do in our community here in Spring Valley. Your leadership matters, and it has made a difference in this community. We are blessed to have a large and vibrant Haitian community here in Rockland County. It is the second largest Haitian diaspora per capita in the entire country. And I am proud to represent this community in Washington, D.C. And as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee and a member of the Western Hemisphere Subcommittee, the situation on the ground in Haiti is something that has been a priority and a focus for me since coming to Washington. As Pastor Nate alluded to, the challenges on the ground in Haiti are immense, and they are serious. And since the assassination of the president, it has devolved into a full-blown crisis and a government that is unstable and beholden to gangs and others engaged in illicit conduct, including gang activity, kidnapping, drug trafficking, human trafficking, gun trafficking. And in fact, many of the guns are trafficked from the United States into Haiti. And this has been a serious challenge that requires a comprehensive response, not just by the United States, but by our allies around the globe, and especially in the Caribbean. And as a member of the committee, I have met with the State Department, I have met with Homeland Security on the issue of Haiti in particular and how we address the challenges on the ground. Because the fact is, without a functioning government, without basic security, and no duly elected president to lead the Haitian people, the situation on the ground is too dangerous, not just for Americans, but for Haitians. And that is something that we as an American society, as a society that has had a strong bond with Haiti for generations, cannot and should not tolerate. And so, from my vantage point, there is a lot that needs to be done, working with our allies to stabilize the situation on the ground. A Kenyan peacekeeping force alone is not going to resolve the situation, especially if they are not allowed to engage with the gangs and take them out. And that is fundamental if you are going to bring peace and stability to the ground in Haiti. Ultimately, we want the ability of the Haitian people to have a free and fair election on the ground in Haiti, to elect a government of the people, by the people and for the people of Haiti. Not at the direction of the U.S., but at the direction of the Haitian people. And so, as we deal with the situation on the ground in Haiti, it is imperative to recognize the challenges facing the Haitian people here in the United States. And the fact is that while there are countries that have abused the TPS designation, Haiti is not one of them. And the Haitian population that is here on TPS has come here in search of safety, in search of security, in search of opportunity. 40% of the Haitian population lives in the United States. It is a large and growing diaspora. And the Haitian population here in Spring Valley has contributed immensely to our communities, to our economy, to our workforce. And I know we're joined by many of our friends and neighbors, including the Haitian American Nurses Association and the great work that they do within our healthcare sphere, by our pastors who are vital to our community. And so as we deal with these challenges, what I have said to the administration, what I have said to Homeland Security and to the State Department, is that it is imperative to extend TPS. TPS is a legal, common sense way to make sure that people already here in the United States don't get sent back into the middle of chaos. It is temporary, it is targeted, and it was exactly what was needed for the Haitian community. Earlier this year, I had sent a letter to President Trump urging him to extend TPS beyond what the Biden administration had proposed. Unfortunately, the administration announced plans to end it. Since then, I have kept the pressure on this issue and introduced legislation in a bipartisan way with my colleague, Laura Gillen from Long Island, to reinstate the program. And we are continuing to work with the State Department and Homeland Security to find a more permanent option for Haitians in the United States. What my strong recommendation is to everyone who is here on TPS as part of the Haitian community is to use every legal means necessary, including applying for asylum or other legal channels, to remain in the United States. I believe very strongly that the claims that the Haitian community will make are legitimate and valid and should be approved swiftly by Homeland Security and the administration. At the end of the day, this isn't about choosing between security and compassion. We can have both, and we should. We can protect our borders and enforce our immigration laws and still stand with the Haitian American families in our district. We can enforce the law and still help families stay together when they're doing everything within the confines of the law. And that's exactly what Marjorie Eliasson tried to do. Her fiance is in Haiti. She followed every step of the legal process, filed for a K-1 visa, traveled to the U.S. Embassy in the Bahamas, since the one in Port-au-Prince is closed, brought all of the paperwork, and did everything by the book. And still, his visa was denied because of the travel suspension that was put in place, which I strongly oppose. She came to my office for help, and my team has been working closely with her every step of the way, because that's what we're here to do, to help people who are doing things the right way. And I can tell you from my experience individually, this process can be exhausting and complicated. My wife came to this country from Moldova and became a U.S. citizen in 2020. I've seen firsthand how broken this system is and how difficult it can be to navigate. Behind every case is a real family, real people, and real hopes for their future. And that's why today, even as we push for solutions and reform and push for changes, we have something to celebrate. Just this week, Alan Jr. Pierre, a student at Spring Valley High School, was released from ICE custody after his family and his attorney reached out to my office and asked us to get involved.
Yes.
He is a Haitian refugee, and he is here under the parole system. And he went in accordance with what was asked of him, what was required, to go get his biometrics done, and was subsequently detained. It was wrong. It should not have happened. And so I personally called Secretary Noem's office and spoke with her senior staff. And within 36 hours, he was released.
Amen.
It
Yes.
shouldn't take that. It shouldn't take me having to intervene, however.
Yes.
And that really is the point. We have real challenges in this country. This is not about being against immigration. It is about having a legal immigration system that works. It is why I was proud to co-sponsor the Dignity Act, the first bipartisan immigration reform legislation in a decade, because there needs to be a system that works. We want people to be able to come here legally and participate in our communities, to be part of our economy, to work in the United States and achieve their American dream. That is what this country was founded on. That is what it was built on. And so I'm heartened that Alan was released this week. But there is still a long road to hoe, and we will work closely with him, with his attorney, with his family, through the process. And I do want to thank Nancy Cutler and LOHUD, because they did help bring awareness to Alan's situation. And that is helpful when you're dealing with the complexities of this system. But there are real challenges ahead, and we will continue to work diligently with the community, with individuals on their casework. And I want to especially thank some of my staff who work tirelessly on these cases, day in, day out. Sima Rock, a member of the Haitian community, as well as Rafi Silberberg, Julie Gomez, who work tirelessly to help every individual. I don't care what your story is, what your situation is. If you reach out to us, we will help you. That is the job, that is the responsibility, and that is what we have done since I took office back in 2021 in the State Assembly, and then in Congress in 2023. So we will continue to work through these challenges. And you know, one of the things that Pastor Nate talked about that I think was important was Secretary Rubio came to testify before Congress on Capitol Hill. And he said that the administration is considering taking a more active role within the Organization of American States to address the issues on the ground in Haiti. And I strongly believe that is necessary to fix the challenges and the situation on the ground. And it is imperative, if we are going to have a more stable and secure Haiti, that ultimately the Haitian people will be able to elect a government of their choosing, and the Haitian people here in the U.S. will be able to choose whether or not to go back to Haiti or stay in the U.S. But to send them without stability on the ground is wrong, and I am fundamentally opposed to that. So I want to thank everybody for being here. We have a number of folks who are here today, and I want to ask our Deputy Town Supervisor in the town of Ramapo, Brendel Logan Charles, to come up and say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, first of all, for Congressman Lawler. He is our congressman. He is a Republican who does the work. He has not sat in Washington and done nothing, like some of our other representatives for the United States government. He is doing the work every day for every community. And he is a Republican, yes. And I am a Democrat, yes. I can almost hear someone saying, is she a Democrat?
Doesn't matter. So
It does not matter.
So that's matter.
We are bipartisan, working together, respecting one another, understanding the issues for the people of the village of Spring Valley, which is inside of the town of Ramapo. There is not one time that he does not answer the call. And what we have to do as a community of people is to support him in this endeavor. He proved to us that if we stick together and work together,
Yes.
we can help each other.
Yes.
We are in a critical time in America. All of us here are all different.
Yes.
We all came here some way, somehow, does not matter, but we're all here together. We all landed in the same place together. I've been in the town of Ramapo for 15 years as in this capacity. My home coming to Rockland was in the village of Spring Valley, and it is absolutely near and dear to my heart. I have a Haitian grandson. So when you speak to your 11-year-old grandson and he asks me, Nana, am I okay to go to school?
Wow.
Are they going to take me
Oh, wow.
in school?
It's
Are
tough.
they going to take his other grandparents? I have to reassure him, don't worry, Nana got you. I'll make a phone call. I'll call the congressman. But to be quite honest with you, Nana's not sure. Nana's also an immigrant, half immigrant. My father's Cuban. And the Latino people are faced with
Big challenge.
unmentionable things that are happening to them because they came here with a promise of a better life. This is America for all people. We have one representative that every day comes out tirelessly to make sure that we have representation, and that is Congressman Mike Lawler.
Yes.
So if anyone that can hear my voice understands how important this is, we need to come together and support each other. It could be your family member next.
Yes.
And who is going to answer the call? God bless you all, and pray for our country. Pray for this man, to protect him and give him Godspeed in all of we have to do for immigration. Because we had some folks here, I'm old enough to know, and I'm going to say my age, 63.
I'm
At
65.
23, do the math, for 40 years, folks sat in Washington and could have fixed this immigration problem.
Yes.
I know for a fact that this gentleman
Yes.
will lead the charge and be a part of how to fix the immigration problem in this country. But he cannot do it without our support.
Yes.
Keep that in mind. We cannot go another 5 years without this happening. Otherwise, all of our families are in jeopardy. God bless you.
God bless.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
So, Brendel, I don't want to make you feel bad, but the last time immigration reform was done, I wasn't born.
Okay. So even longer.
Yeah, 1986. I was born 9/9/86.
Okay.
With that, happy to take any questions anybody has. Yes, Tony.
How can you look at one set of facts and see danger and chaos, and Secretary Noem looks at the same set of facts and concludes that overall conditions in Haiti have improved to the point where Haitians can return home in safety, and permitting Haitian nationals to remain temporarily in the U.S. is contrary to the national interests of the U.S. That's directly from her statement provided by DHS.
Yep.
Two Republicans looking at the same set of facts on opposite ends.
Look, I think obviously people can evaluate these situations and come to different positions, but I think when you look at the situation on the ground in Haiti, you have a few challenges that I think are clear and unambiguous. One, you do not have a stable government. Since the assassination of the president, you have not had a presidential election. You have a situation where the largest city is basically under control of gangs. You have a situation where guns are being trafficked from the U.S. into Haiti. You have kidnapping happening in mass. And the fact is that the situation on the ground in Haiti is unstable and unsafe. And obviously, based on the State Department's own warnings that have been issued to Americans, they do not recommend that Americans go or stay in Haiti. And so I have been trying to reconcile between the Department of State and Homeland how we deal with this. Now, with that being said, I also understand the position of the administration regarding TPS. It is temporary. It is not meant to be a permanent solution to this problem. And that has been the challenge. It has just continually been extended without actually solving the problem on the ground in Haiti, and without recognizing, obviously, that when you are granting TPS to folks from numerous countries, there obviously is an influx that creates a challenge here. And so we're trying to wrestle between addressing the broken immigration system that we have in this country that clearly does not work, clearly is not serving anybody well, versus obviously dealing with the challenge on the ground in Haiti. My objective is to get two things done. Number one, U.S. leadership on the ground in Haiti to help resolve the situation. And until there is a will to take on these gangs And I fundamentally believe, as I have with the drug cartels, they should be treated as terrorist organizations because that's what they're doing. They're creating terror and fear and death and destruction on the ground in Haiti and throughout Latin and Central and South America. And so that has to be dealt with. And until you have a coalition of sorts of the willing to actually intervene and do something about it, this situation will persist. Secondarily is recognizing, yes, there needs to be reform to our immigration system. As Brendel said, it hasn't been done in nearly 40 years. It's a joke. It's an embarrassment to our country. We have a shortage of doctors, of nurses, of home health aides, ag workers, construction workers, hospitality workers, teachers, engineers. India's producing engineers at a 6-to-1 ratio against us. The fact is, our birth rate has declined in 15 years from 2 children per woman to 1.66 in just 15 years. So if we don't have an immigration system that actually addresses our economic and population needs, we're going to have an economic calamity down the road. All right, you see what's happening with Social Security and Medicare, where the baby boomer generation is retiring, the benefits are going out, and obviously you don't have a workforce on the back end to fill this. This is a real challenge. So you need an immigration system that works. We need to address the undocumented in this country. Leaving people in the shadows is not going to solve anything. You need to have a pathway towards legalization. That's why I support the Dignity Act. People can pay a fine, they can pay their back taxes, but we need people to come out of the shadows. We need them to have legal authorization to be here and to work and to participate in the economy. That should be the objective, and they're not necessarily contradictory. It's a function of sometimes what step comes first, but the fact is, yes, we need to fix the immigration system, and yes, we need to bring stability to the ground in Haiti.
Quick follow-up. The clock would appear to be ticking because DHS says the TPS designation for Haiti expires on August 3rd.
Yep.
And the termination will be effective on Tuesday,
September 2nd. Yes.
So what happens on Wednesday, September 3rd?
Yeah. So this is why I think it's so important for anybody who is here on TPS to apply for every legal avenue possible to remain in the United States. Whether it's asylum or evaluating any other legal pathway to remain in the United States, because with the termination of TPS, if you have not applied for asylum or other legal pathways, then yes, you are going to be not only deported, but you will not be permitted to come back into the U.S. Once you are deported. So it is imperative that people follow the law, that they follow the legal pathways that are available, and it's something that I believe fundamentally, and I will advocate tirelessly to get the administration to approve these claims, because fundamentally the situation on the ground in Haiti warrants them. Yes, Nancy.
Can you address CHNB also being taken away? And there are approximately 3,000 people from Haiti now who are on what's called the Biden-sponsored the Biden parole program, and they have sponsors. And as Pastor Nate said, they're at even more risk of bribery with that record.
Yeah.
Have you advocated for that to be returned?
Again, the challenge here, and I think we can all acknowledge this. In the prior 4 years, you had an influx of over 10.5 million migrants into the United States. It created a real strain on the system and on our communities. As we deal with addressing some of these challenges, obviously some of the tools that the Biden administration used in relation to parole and expanding out, that is something that the Trump administration is reversing. I don't necessarily object to the fact that they're trying to rein in decisions that were made. The issue to me is you have to make an evaluation based on the country of origin, the situation on the ground, and the individuals that are here. and it shouldn't just be a blanket one-size-fits-all approach to this. So from my vantage point, when it comes to anybody who is here from Haiti, okay, which I think every country is going to be different. Some countries, the situation does not warrant it. And you have to keep in mind, when these cases generally are heard, 70% of them are rejected, okay, because the claim does not actually meet the situation on the ground. In Haiti, it does. And that is why I think it is imperative that the administration recognize that, which I think the State Department does, and I think Secretary Rubio does, especially having represented Florida, where they have one of the largest Haitian diaspora in the world. I think Secretary Rubio understands it. And so that is why we will continue to work to try and make sure that the legal pathway, even as the administration makes changes or reforms, that the legal pathway is there. And that is why I think it is imperative for anybody who is here on a claim of parole, on TPS, to apply through every legal channel to extend their stay here.
Follow up, isn't that exactly what tripped up Alan? Is that he applied and he had legal status, and the DHS in their messages in the media repeated the terms illegal alien, here illegally, etc. when he had status. At the same time, so they're adding more work for getting out people who had already been vetted, that they're now going after them. At the same time, the One Big Beautiful Bill gives billions and billions of dollars to add ICE agents. Do you advocate that some of that money will actually maybe add immigration judges so people will have due process?
Yeah. So, again, as I understand, Alan came through the southern border. He was granted parole. He was going through that process and going for his biometrics. The process should be allowed to be adjudicated. If somebody is given a legal status, that process should be adjudicated through the immigration system. From the standpoint of funds, and again, this is why I support the Dignity Act. Yes, we need more judges and court personnel to hear these cases in an expedited fashion. This has been part of the challenge. You have asylum cases that at minimum are taking 2 to 3 years to be heard. Thank you. 2 to 3 years to be heard. That's absurd. And that's part of the reason why the whole system felt this collapse, because you couldn't possibly handle 10.5 million cases in this time frame. And it's why the administration has stopped the release of people into the U.S. Who are crossing the southern border illegally. But when you now have this backlog, you have to work through it. So yes, I do believe there should be more judges. There should be more court personnel. I would support the use of that through Homeland Security to make sure that that is actually happening and advocate for that. And again, that's why I've supported the Dignity Act, because that actually does that. It actually requires that more judges be hired to deal with these cases.
Meanwhile, the Dignity Act isn't, you continue to fight for that. You mentioned people crossing over the southern border illegally, that has to stop. But people like Alan and your office address that, but there are so many more that your office would have to address individually. They would have to know how to do that. Who didn't come here legally but now are illegally. In the meantime, while you do advocate for the Dignity Act, is there anything that you are doing to convince the Trump administration and DHS that this change in status of people who already had status is problematic, which is the situation that ended up giving Alan the problem and many other situations that we're seeing around legally?
Well, again, I have spoken out publicly and directly to the administration where there is a legal claim that has to be adjudicated. There has to be due process. In the case of Mr. Abrego Garcia, when he was deported and the Supreme Court ruled 9-0, I said he should be returned. Now, he has subsequently been returned, and that case is finding its way through the courts, as well as criminal charges that have been filed. But my point is, on any of these cases, there should be due process of law, and any time you have a legal status claim, that should be adjudicated. So in the case of TPS, or in the case of parole, or in the case of asylum, any of those pending claims should be adjudicated through the immigration system. But again, this goes to the fundamental point, which is that the system is fundamentally broken. And unless you actually start, we can secure the border, which, by the way, last month, 0 border crossings, which is a positive step, but you still have an influx of people here in the United States that you have to adjudicate these cases. And that, to me, is something that should be done expeditiously. It requires more court personnel to do that, and I support that. Any other questions?
I got a question.
Leslie, go ahead.
Congressman Michael Lawler, I know you've been supported. Are you continuing to support all the community, Haitian community, about the TPS?
Am I supporting?
Are you continuing to support it?
Oh, yeah, yes. But again, look, I would like to see TPS extended, but in the absence of that, my message and my point is to apply through every legal means necessary. So in the absence of the administration extending TPS, there are other legal avenues, and anybody who is here on TPS should apply through those legal avenues.
Can I ask a question? But when they do apply to those legal avenues, in the meantime, aren't they at risk at getting deported because they have nothing to show for, especially the people from the Biden program? Because all of them, you know what the Haitians call the Biden program, because all of them now, they don't have a job, they can't work, they're just
Yeah.
so even if they apply for, let's say, asylum, what's that going to do for them?
Well, if there's a legal claim, that will be adjudicated. And so one of the things that I have spoken to Homeland Security about, and they encouraged everybody who is here on TPS or the parole that was extended by the Biden administration to apply for asylum.
Because lots of them applied and they never got a response because, like you said, there's so many.
What we have done, any case that has come before my office, we continue to intervene on behalf of that constituent, that individual, to work through that case. Obviously, I represent one district out of 435, so we are trying to help everybody that is in this community. If there are other people that we can help, we do that. We try to do our best. There are cases we get all the time outside of my district that we try to help people with, but at the end of the day, anybody here in this district that is here on whether it be parole or TPS should be applying for asylum.
So it's better for me without doing nothing, so you do something.
Yep.
All right? We've still not apply for nothing, and then in September 2nd,
Well, that's it.
whatever
If you don't apply for
that's
anything,
done. So it's
on
better
September
you
2nd,
apply for amnesty and do something instead of don't doing nothing.
No, you apply.
Yes.
But you don't get a
Yeah, but
response.
it's better. Your name is still in the system, and then
We're gonna wrap it up real quick.
Yes.
I think we have to close it. But I just want to acknowledge some of the people that did come out to support us. Pastor Dorcelli's here, Pastor Jermaine's here, Pastor Edward Joseph, Legislator Stilley. It's bipartisan. We have Trustee McGill, who's a Haitian elected official. Obviously, founder of this church. My dad is here. Pastor. Pascal Jean-Gilles, our trustee, our Haitian trustee. She's here. I saw Pastor Joseph. We have our different Haitian media here. Brother Eddie here's here, and Assemblyman Weeder, who's a good old friend of us, and also Trustee Gross. Yes.
Pastor Nate.
Yes.
Just one question real quick.
And he has a question too.
So are people in the Haitian community here, are they walking on eggshells? Are people nervous? Are they trying to avoid interaction? How do you characterize it?
I think I will characterize it the way I started my comments. Eggshells is not something that just started now. My dad was walking on eggshells when I was born, and he had to close down a basement meeting because he thought that ICE was going to invade the meeting. So this is not new. To say that are we walking on eggshells, I think we've been walking on eggshells since before Mike was born. Okay, and that's what is established here. We need a reform, and we need we need an immigration bill solution that is commensurate with the great history of this nation. What we did in Ellis Island is what we need to do now again. Pastor
Congressman.
Oh,
Uh,
not yet. Yes. Question.
TPS has been 15 years old. Well, they have never ended it. Do you think you could advocate for TPS to become permanent residency?
Look, I believed that those Haitians on TPS should have been granted permanency, and I would have liked to see that, and I would like to see that. But under the current circumstance, I'm not sure that that is realistic. I think following the other legal avenues that are available are more likely to produce a positive
But
result.
when you go before a judge, I heard if you file for asylum, maybe you won't come back home.
I think he wants to address the issue of
You get arrested.
people being picked up at
Well,
at appointments and by truck.
Right. The challenge right now is if you don't apply for anything,
But you could-
under the current structure, the TPS is expiring on September 2nd.
Yes, that's
So
one.
if you don't apply for anything, then it is going to be harder
I
to
get
adjudicate
that.
these
I get
cases.
that very well, but if I do asylum, it's not to show that when I see this George, I go back home again.
Well, Pastor, if I may, Congressman, I think that there's nothing sure when it comes to immigration today, and that we are leading the pathway
that's- yeah.
forward. And is it possible, to answer your question? Anything is possible. I saw a mayor go before an immigration ICE detention center and tackled to the ground and handcuffed, and he's an elected official. I saw a senator have the same experience. We all are at risk, which is what I was saying earlier. So we have to start the process somewhere. Right now, if you file, we have something to work with. If you do nothing, then the outcome could be very grim. I would say absolutely. But we are all at risk at this point.
All right. Yep.
Okay?
All right. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.